Sailing out past the Kemah Boardwalk. So Captain Terry Grover
Howdy.
with Catamaran Company.
Yes.
So tell me why Galveston Bay is the place to be.
You know, a lot of people don't realize that Houston is the third most populous. Let's try that again. Good job. A lot of people don't realize that.
Let's get the stern lifelines on the shipping scoops.
Right on. I'm busy.
You got two.
Huh?
You got two more help.
All right. A lot of people don't realize that Houston, Galveston Bay area is the third most populous pleasure boat area in the United States, behind Marina del Rey, California, and Fort Lauderdale. Home to thousands of boats up in here. We've got a great sailing area, Upper Galveston Bay, and dock space is cheap compared to a lot of places. For a catamaran, you're looking at between $700 and $900 a month for a catamaran slip, which is unheard of in.
Let's move to 1,200.
Has it?
I usually use 1,000. I'm sure you can find lower cost. Wind speed right now of 16. I'll get my little paddle wheel working. I believe it's going to lead off as we go through the bay. So I think you'll have the strongest winds. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going 5 northwest direction.
Just checking the bilges. There's no water in them. Hello, check.
Yeah, it looks good here. So no. So we didn't ever finish talking about why you want to sail here.
Why Houston? And why sell your boat in Houston? Some great things about listing your boat, selling it here is there's lots of brokers here. So not just Catamaran Company. You've got Chris Block and myself here in Houston. This is Bree. Chris is Lagoon 450. He and I both own sailing schools. We're active in the community. There's lots of, for maintenance, that kind of stuff. Everything from cushions to rig work, fiberglass repair, engine work. Plenty of people around here that can do it. We've got several haul out yards. One up in our Clear Lake is an offshoot of Galveston Bay, which is a very protected area. Also considered hurricane safe for most insurance companies. So you don't have to put your boat on the hard or take it down to Grenada. It's easy to get to Houston. And you fly into Hobby Airport and you're down here on the water in 20 minutes. So for people wanting to go look at boats, it's real easy. And they're all packed up into marinas. So we've got thousands of boats within a 10 square mile area. Unlike Fort Lauderdale, that area where you have to drive and the boats are tucked behind somebody's houses, these are all in marinas. So, I could go out, drive around Clear Lake and show people a dozen boats in a day, no problem.
And you can sail year-round.
Yeah, and year-round sailing.
Year-round sailing.
Yeah.
Something you can't do in other places.
So you referenced that this was the third largest collection of
Pleasure boats
in
the United States.
And what are the first two?
Marina del Rey, California is number 1. Fort Lauderdale is number 2. We're number 3. I think Annapolis falls in at number 4. And then Miami probably. If you want to count dollars on the water, probably Miami. The protected area called Clear Lake, is up in through the Clear Creek Channel, which does have a 72-foot bridge. So any sailboat with under a 70-foot mast is no problem. I sail Leopard 46 and older Leopard 47 all the time with 70-foot masts. And actually this boat, Bree, the Lagoon 450, normally comes with a 74-foot mast. It's cut to 70. There's a lot of Lagoon 450s here that are cut down so they can navigate under that bridge. And then there's a railroad bridge down in Galveston under the Galveston Causeway to do the intercoastal waterway, which you can get under.
So if you want to cut out, that's kind of a shortcut to the intercoastal, right? Otherwise, you have to go out.
Have to go out, and actually going south, Freeport is the next entrance into the intercoastal, because you can't get in down at the end of Galveston Island, which is about 20-some miles down, but you can't even get in there. You have to go all the way to Freeport. Here, just head south in Galveston Bay down the ship channel, and then get to the intercoastal and head south, southwest, and then you can take the intercoastal all the way down to basically Brownsville if you wanted to.
Right.
Nobody wants to do that, but it's nice to know that you can.
Sure. Well, so what about sailing in the bay versus getting out into the Gulf?
That's great. I mean, the Gulf is great, but it's, we're about 4 hours from the mouth of Galveston Bay where the jetties are.
Kind of inconvenient.
So it's a little inconvenient, but Galveston Bay is basically 600 square miles of navigable water. With the big ship channel going right through the middle, so you just avoid the ships and you can sail. This is called Upper Galveston Bay. Quite often we'll cut across the ship channel into Trinity Bay. South of that is East Bay. So plenty of sailing, plenty of anchorages around. It's not like Florida where you can cruise the intercoastal and go bar hopping on your boat. But for sailors, there's just a ton of people around here. We do occasionally get hurricanes coming in here, but we're so protected up in here. Unless we get hit with a major hurricane, we're not in bad shape. We take the jibs off. We do the proper hurricane prep. All these marinas are floating docks, with big cement pillars, so the docks aren't going anywhere.
Well, I guess North Carolina has proven that nobody's immune.
Oh, nobody, yeah, no matter what. I mean, you get hit with a Cat 5, especially, in the summertime. Galveston Bay is only average depth of about 8 feet. So with catamarans and smaller monohulls, it's a great sailing area. I wouldn't want to come in here with an 8-foot draft boat. You really couldn't. You'd run into shoals. But if a Cat 5 were to come in here and hit Galveston Bay, which has a water temperature in the summertime of the high 80s, it's like a big battery sitting there. It would spin that hurricane. That happened actually in 1983, Hurricane Alicia. The eye of it hit Galveston Bay, and it spun up, by at least 1 magnitude before it made landfall in the Kemah Seabrook area, and it was pretty devastating. But that was 41 years ago. I was actually here. My house was an island. So we're kind of making our way to the start line for the Galveston Bay Cup 2. This is a race that's sponsored by Lakewood Yacht Club. They sponsor a lot of the races. We have got Lakewood Yacht Club, and we've got the GBCA, which is the Galveston Bay Cruising Association. Another thing about here is there's a lot of networking available for sailboat owners, not just catamarans. There's several associations, Texas Maritime Cruisers Association, Galveston Bay Cruising Association, Texas Association of Social Sailors, just people to get out and go sailing together. And they do events, Parrot Head clubs, that kind of stuff. A lot of good local bars and hangouts.
Right.
Eat oysters, drink beer, and talk about sailing.
So how did you get started in sailing?
I lived up in Dallas, Euless, Texas, and learned how to sail when I was 8 years old on Lake Grapevine. My parents bought a 24-foot Venture 24, and then the kids all had sunfish, and we raced, had a great time. And we would take that Venture 24 as a swing keel, trailerable boat. So we would put it up on the trailer and tow that thing all over the country. I remember sailing Lake of the Ozarks, a lot of the lakes in Texas. Actually, back in '73, I was 10 years old. I'm dating myself now, right? We trailered with 4 other families to Fort Lauderdale, dropped in and did the Bahamas for 3 weeks. Now this is before GPS and all that, so we had compasses, charts, and a handheld RDF, which people don't even know what those are anymore. It's a radio direction finder. It's a little box with a compass on top and some earphones. And you would scan the horizon looking for a radio beacon, which is just a Morse code signal. And by the Morse code signal, you could tell what station that was. So you'd find that one on the chart, and you draw a line. You'd have a compass on top. So okay, that station is bearing 240 degrees. So you draw a line, the reciprocal. Then you go scan. You look for another one, and you triangulate that way. You find another one. You go, okay, that one is bearing at 310. You draw another line. You try to get 3 of those. 2's good. 3's better.
Yeah.
And wherever those lines intersect, that's where you are. Yeah, that's what set the hook for me, is being in the Bahamas. And I was 10 years old. It was a family of 5, mom, dad, and 3 kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my older brother, my younger sister, and myself. And it's funny, my older brother was a little bit scared of heights. And I remember being in an anchorage in the Bahamas, and the water's just so clear, and the water was super still. We're at anchor, and he looked over the side, and he was scared of heights. He kind of freaked out a little bit because it looks like the boat's just hanging in midair there. You can see just, you're in 30 feet of water, and you can see starfish and sea cucumbers and stuff on the bottom. Being from Texas Lake and Galveston Bay, that's a game changer right there.
Julian.